Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. The Green Bay Packers players are off today. The coaches are busy devising their game plan for the showdown with the Carolina Panthers on Sunday, where the Packers will wear their 1923 classic uniforms. I mean, are we ever going to see the Packers in green and gold again? I kid. I jest, but I do need to see some green and gold here real soon because I got the all whites last week. Going to have the classics this week. Good thing, I guess. Hopefully, cross fingers, they're going to be in green and gold when they face off against the Eagles. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe they'll throw us another curveball. But the Packers, the Panthers on Sunday. And I think it should be interesting to see how they line up on defense, especially at cornerback across from Keyshawn Nixon. As you undoubtedly noticed, Carrington Valentine got the call in that game against the Steelers on Sunday night. Nate Hobbs relegated to 3 plays from scrimmage, I believe, and certainly the majority of the perimeter corner action was manned by Carrington Valentine, the former 7th-round pick, who I would contend probably had his best game since week 1 against the Detroit Lions. I think since then, clearly he's been somewhat in and out of the lineup. Certainly hasn't been playing as much as he did in that first game against Detroit, but thrust into a starting role on Sunday night, I thought he delivered. And I don't think it's, flawless, lots to work on, lots to learn from, etc. But he looked the part and he looked active and he looked very much like a guy who understood the assignment when it came to the idea that the ball's got to come out. Like, this front is going to get after it. And something we've talked about a lot here on Daily throughout the season. The ball is going to come out. And Valentine seemed hell-bent on making a play on the ball. Now, occasionally, the receivers had a reception on him, and that's going to happen. That's life in the league. But it was a breath of fresh air, really, to have a guy who did a nice job of tracking the football and knowing that the ball had to come out and understanding that he has a right to the ball. Because that's the thing that's been somewhat frustrating with this Packers secondary is, the wide receivers getting, you saw it happen with Nixon a couple of times, wide receivers getting positioned, and, that is all well and good, but you as a defensive back, you still have a right to go after the football. That is your ball. See ball, get ball. And you saw that from Valentine on a number of occasions against the Steelers. And it didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter if it was a front, if it was DK Metcalf or any number of other guys. He attacked the ball with a ferocity that we haven't really seen much of from this Packers secondary. Again, did he get got a few times? Yep, no doubt about it. But on balance throughout the game, I thought he did an excellent job. And there was one play in particular when it came to seeing a guy who I think is taking steps forward and learning from his past games and maybe his past mistakes, what have you. Unfortunately, yes, it was a play where, the Steelers tight end Freiermuth was injured, although Freiermuth did return later in the game. But I don't have to remind Packers fans of the touchdown that the Packers gave up in the Philadelphia Eagles game where they go essentially like a cover 0, and he's got Dallas Goedert there in the slot, and Goddard essentially just plants him into oblivion. The stiff arm from hell, so to speak. Well, fast forward to Sunday night, and Freiermuth got the ball out there in the flat. And what does Valentine do? Perfectly legally, takes him out at the legs. That's exactly what you should be doing as a perimeter corner who you're going up against a receiver who outweighs you by a ton, right? You're not going to tackle him up high. You're going to go low and you're going to take out his legs and you're getting him on the ground, which is exactly what Valentine did. You've seen growth. You've seen a guy who's physical, and hell, you talk about confidence. I think it's real clear that Carrington Valentine is not lacking for confidence. So I was very pleasantly kind of, I'm not going to say surprised, because I think we've seen, like I said, stretches of good play from Carrington at this point in his career. It's just a question of smoothing that out and becoming a more consistent player. And the only way that's going to happen is if he plays. He's got to play. Going to be interesting to see how they handle this going forward because they did hand Nate Hobbs a ton of money. But at least against Pittsburgh, he was not on the field. So we'll see what happens when Carolina comes to town on Sunday. I suspect we'll continue to see Valentine opposite Nixon. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody mixing it up in the chat. Before we get going, you guys know I got to give a shout out to our good friends over at ThetaCare. ThetaCare is a proud sponsor of Cheesehead TV. Whether you're scoring touchdowns or cheering from the sidelines, ThetaCare is your most valuable partner in health. From injury prevention to recovery, they've got your back and your knees and your shoulders too. Check out thetacare.org for more or the link in the description of this video. Do it, folks. You know, you'll want to. What's going on, Ed? Starting us off. Thank you, sir. I don't think the Panthers have ever won at Lambeau. Let's keep it that way. Oh, Ed. Oh, ye of a short memory, sir. Not only have they won in Lambeau, but they contributed to the quick ousting of one Ray Rhodes back in the day. That's right. The quarterback draw heard around the world. Steve Berline. I'll never forget it. I was unbelievably depressed for like 48 hours after that game. Oh, they've won in Lambeau, sir. Trust me, they have. Jerry Mannion, how are you? Go Pack Go from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. When is happy hour? Happy hour is at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. The information should be on the respective pages on Patreon and here on YouTube. But now, since you've asked me, now I'm like all paranoid. Did I post them? I'm pretty sure I did. Yep, they're on there. So very good information on the pages. Jared, Joe Barry isn't here anymore. The Panthers can't hurt us. I disagree, sir. Every team can hurt you. Although, if you listen to Carry the G radio earlier today, Billy and I were, trying to say like it's a week-to-week league and the games are never easy and, they're going to be a tough opponent. And some dude texted in and said he couldn't believe how we weren't talking about the fact that the Packers are going to wipe out the Panthers. We're going to boat race them. So pardon me for being realistic about anything. Sorry about that. Odissimo, what's going on, man? Did I miss a rule change in recent years about controlling the catch through the ground? Figured that garbage time TD would have been called incomplete. It's interesting because it has changed a couple of times, and they actually eliminated the rule of needing to control it through the ground, but they changed things in the end zone. And old school rules, and if you watch Watch Party, you know what I've said. Old school, like back when Madden was calling games, that was absolutely a touchdown because once you possess it and your feet are on the ground and you're in the end zone, all you have to do is possess it for a second, and that's a touchdown. But then the Megatron play happened and all hell broke loose. And they changed everything and they kept changing things and they've kept changing things to now, yes, you're supposed to control it through the ground if you're in the end zone. But if you're, in the field of play, it's not necessary. But if you're out of bounds, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ed, thanks again. Oops, my bad. In that case, let's make it a revenge game. There you go. We need to get revenge on those. I think it was 1999 Panthers. Man. Also, it was Uncultured Barbarian here on YouTube. Gave a shout out to the Brad Hoover game. All the old heads chiming in today. And that was a tough one. Brad Hoover, fullback for the Panthers, running all over the Packers back in 2000. Now, that was down in Carolina, but man, Panthers have gotten the Packers several times. It's not fun at times, but it's going to be fun on Sunday, damn it. What else we got here, folks? How we doing? Oh, Jared, here we go. Pretty reasonable take on Rodgers not grounding play. Call OPI if the receiving player is engaged in a block. Still pretty heads up by the old GOAT. Oh, Jared, yes, 1,000,000,000% when it comes to Rodgers throwing the ball into the ground. No question about it. It is a smart play on his part. I have been on this crusade where grounding never gets called. even when it's obvious that it is, right? And that play, it's obvious that he's throwing it to avoid the sack. To the letter of the law, yes, the back is there in the quote area, though he is, as you point out, engaged. So when I'm going off on Sunday, I'm just frustrated at the lack of grounding calls that we've seen around the league, even when it is blatantly obvious that it should be grounding, i.e., Dak Prescott a couple weeks ago, right? But yes, that is a very smart heads up play by an old, grizzled veteran quarterback. But yeah, I like your idea. Well, then why isn't it offensive PI if the intended receiver is blocking? Sounds about right to me, because otherwise the intended receiver is a worm. And I don't know what we're doing here if that's the case. What else we got here, folks? Complicated. How many fingers did Aaron use on his drink after the game Sunday night? I haven't heard him ask that, because that's, like a what do you call institutional knowledge that you'd have to have with Rodgers, and I don't think many of the Pittsburgh folks are there yet. Let's see. Brandy, that's a reasonable question. Nags, it seems like Valentine excels in man defense. Is it because of the numerous moving parts in zone? Man defense is simple. No. You got to remember, there is very, very rare where something as simple as they're playing man, meaning, okay, you've got that guy. There are a lot of match principles where you're reading route combinations with someone else in the secondary, and dependent on who breaks where, inside, outside, what have you, then that's the guy you've got. Sometimes that can look like man coverage, but it's actually kind of a zone match scheme. And as far as the working parts within a zone, there's some kind of particular kind of landmarks you're supposed to hit and things like that. Supposed to obviously get the call from usually the safety. It's usually Xavier McKinney making those calls pre-snap, but there's no simple coverage. It's very, very rare where it's straight. Okay, everyone just play straight man. That is, I want to say maybe 3% of the time that will occur. As far as is it easier to do one or the other? I don't really think so. I think there are certainly guys who are suited to one or the other who maybe excel in certain components, especially if you are asking them when they do play man to get up in the grill of the receiver, right? At the line of scrimmage, you want to use your physicality. And I do think Carrington, his makeup, his physical makeup does lend itself to that. But I think he's played well in zone just as well as he has in man. I don't really see him excelling clearly more obviously in one or the other. I think he can do everything they're asking him to do. No doubt about it. New York Cheese said, refs made a lot of bad calls Sunday. Hell, did you watch last night? I don't think they got a single call right the first time around. They had to review 3 big plays. Tough scene, man. Tough scene. I know Chris Long went on about this on his podcast this week. And it's hard because you don't want you. I understand it's a tough gig, right? It's that things are happening super fast and so physical, and there's such a bang bang nature to almost every play, and it's incredible when how much they do get right. But it does feel like, the officiating has gotten worse. I don't think anyone would argue otherwise, and I don't know that there's an easy fix. I mean, I always bang the table for make them full time. Seems like an easy first step, but that's a whole monetary thing, and the A being the NFL, don't seem to want to go that route. Pack Daddy, how you doing? While we're talking about rule changes, I'd like it if kick returner penalties don't get applied if your returner does a fair catch. Double jeopardy, in my opinion. So wait, so if you fair catch, then if there's a hold that shouldn't count? I think that's logical, but I don't see that taking root anytime soon. Rob says, nice to have Christian Watson back. You are not lying. It is sweet to have Christian Watson back. You can tell Love enjoys throwing to him, very much trusts him, knows he can count on him to be where he's supposed to be, but also just his physical presence in the run game. I know lots of people have highlighted it, but that block, the seal block he makes when Jacobs bounces outside for the touchdown, that is fun. That's just fun football right there. And he is a particular type of receiver that seems to really enjoy and kind of relish in that type of contact. I'm all in on it. Menace. Ron Torbert has entered the chat. What are you talking about, Nags? Ron Torbert. Don't get me started on Ron fucking Torbert. Has he lost his voice again out in those streets the night before the game? I can't with Ron Torbert. Ron got to have a huge conference for every single little call. Man, just see it and make the call. That shit drives me insane. He drives me insane. Aiden, anything going on in New York City for the Giants game? Yes, we will be having a meetup the night before the game at Kettle of Fish down there on Christopher Street. And also, I'll be bouncing around before the game there at MetLife Stadium. I will be in attendance. So, be on the lookout. We'll blast it out on social. But yes, we will be meeting up there at Kettle of Fish Saturday before the Giants game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ron got to be the star of the game. You are not lying. Omug, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Not quite sure, but should we get a corner before the deadline? I mean, should we? As in, is it a dire need? I mean, I wouldn't mind having a little reinforcement. Somebody with some, what do you call it, experience in the back end there. But I don't think that's how the Packers are going to operate. We know in the past they've made calls at the deadline. A couple years ago they were in on Lattimore, but they're not going to overpay. They're going to probably just let the guys they have either A, get better, or B, let guys on the bench come out and play and hopefully play better than the guys they're replacing. Very interested to see if Bo Melton starts to maybe get some snaps at corner at some point, but I would be very surprised if they made some kind of significant move. Maybe they pick someone up off waivers or pilfer someone's practice squad, as the Titans did with Micah Robinson, Packers 7th round pick. Got signed to their 53-man roster, which is too bad because like I said on Twitter, I liked him this summer, but can't keep everybody. Jeff Jones, how you doing, man? First quarterback ever, 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, and 0 sacks. Pretty damn impressive, right? I mean, the fact that he tied Favre's 20 completions in a row record is pretty damn impressive too. And I loved what he said on Kay Adams when he was asked about it. He said, I wish, she said, did anyone talk to you about it? Or is it like you just leave him alone because he's on a heater? And he said, no one talked to him about it. And he wished they had, because he wouldn't have dirted it to Musgrave in the flat there if he had known that was going to break the streak. Yeah. I mean, just an outstanding performance from Jordan Love. And now look, he's got help, right? Some of that is his teammates, some of that is the coaching staff, but ultimately he's the guy pulling the trigger and making it happen. And man, did he make it happen on Sunday night. No question. Bring back Tremont. Joe, hey, let's give Tremont a call. I don't think it would, I think he'd be interested. Let's say that. Sean Ryan came into the game and Wilson was running wild. Coincidence? Brandy, yes, it was a coincidence. Some of that is just the plays that were called too. The big one that he has up the right side, I think it's one of his first carries. That's Tucker Kraft sealing TJ Watt on that play. But Sean Ryan played well for a guy who essentially lost his gig coming out of the bye week. And I know they said they're going to rotate, and they didn't really rotate too much that Arizona game, but they really did, and he played a lot against the Steelers on Sunday night, and he played well. So hopefully maybe a little reset was all he needed, and he continue to battle it out with Jordan Morgan there at right guard. But yeah, he had one of his better games this year. Now that's a pretty low bar, but definitely nice to see him kind of get back into the groove, so to speak. Marshall Duke, how you doing, man? I remember that 2000 Panthers game. 3 former Packers on their roster: Doug Evans, Eugene Robinson, and Reggie White. Avenge game. Go Pack, go. Yeah, Reggie White finished his career with the Panthers. I was living down there, man. I remember. And yeah, that 2000 game. No, thank you. Let's not do that again. Next week, that will change. What will change, Menace? Oh, we got people. Oh, no. We got people talking about other national analysts that I keep telling you people not to talk about or listen to or reference, because if you do, that means they win. I don't know how many times I got to say it. Puma, any word on Lloyd's or Reed's return? No word yet. Although we did get a nice, fun tweet from Jay Reed today. I think it was thank you in advance or something like that. So maybe he's getting close. I still would guess he's probably about a month away, but we'll see. As for Lloyd, no word. Although it is, a daily occurrence now when I get asked about it. He's on IR. When they're ready, they'll make him active. And when his body's ready, they will activate him. But until then, no word. Strelov, sorry, I'm late. Did we win? We won. We won all of them. Everything. Every bit of it. We won. All right, buddy. I got to get going. Can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor and hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. As we said at the top, don't forget, happy hour tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Lambeau time. The information is on your respective pages. Patreon members, Carry the G Club members. I'll see you there. Everyone else, thanks so much. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.